They're arguing about bloods versus frats, gangs versus
Fraternities, the
fraternities.
same thing. Blood is a fraternity.
Buffoonery. Do
So,
you agree
yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
that fraternities are the same as gangs?
I disagree because you have to have different requirements to be a part of different communities. That's just what it is.
Definitely disagree with that. I mean, obviously, we know there's many similarities. There's people, they're organizing to do certain things. They have to collaborate. I mean, obviously, all the ways that they're the same is, but the devil's going to be the details. The difference is what the conversation's about. And Bloods is a criminal organization. They're domestic terrorists. That's what they do.
Blood is a fraternity, 100%. It's no difference. It's no difference. Only thing they did different is file legal papers that make them a fraternity. If somebody was to name Blood Alpha Phi Blood right now and file the papers, then Blood will be a fraternity, and we can start it anywhere, and they can put it in colleges and all that. Being Blood is not a crime. What you do if you're doing criminal activity as being a Blood makes it a crime, but that doesn't mean every Blood is a criminal. I know there's a lot of people in fraternities that broke hella laws and they are locked up right now. I know there's a lot of Q dogs who lock their ass up right now. You heard? You did, but nobody talks about that. It's all the same thing. Freemasons, fraternities, Bloods, Crips, Yetas, it's all the same thing. The benefits might not be the same. Fraternity has a different type of benefit. You sign to this fraternity, hopefully it'll help you out with your future successes and business endeavors, but it kind of works in the same way of that also, because you got people like me that have been helping out people legally and giving people different type of jobs and opportunities in their lifestyle. So what's the difference? Blood is a fraternity.
Buffoonery.
Yeah. So, Will, what you got on that, Will?
Let me clarify the question. Do you agree
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
that fraternities are the same as gangs at their core?
I mean, I think as far as being organizations that stick together, have a certain amount of camaraderie and things like that. I think that's probably about as far as the similarities may go. Speaking of, I guess what we say gangs is now, from my understanding.
Well, hold on, Will, real quick. We're just gonna go around and
okay.
Hold that thought. We're gonna make our way back around.
So you're saying you agree or disagree with that, Will? You agree with Jim Jones on that? Like Bloods and fraternities are the same thing. If Bloods were to just get the LLC going, it'd be pretty much the same type of thing.
Well, I mean, he named fraternities, secret societies, a couple of more other groups, right?
Right. Do you think they're all the same, basically, at their core?
Damn.
Come on, Will, let him use you. Let him use you, Will.
No. I guess I'm trying to fill in what I think Jones was trying to articulate, but I think he might have been a little jumbled up or on the spot. Like, I don't know exactly what he was trying to say. I think it's something behind it, and maybe later he'll come out and really say what he was trying to say. But that clip right there, nah, he sounded a little off.
Will's trying to stay true to the streets, man. Come on, Will, get on this side with us, man.
I'm calling it what it is, man. All those groups he named got bodies. All of them got bodies.
All right.
Majority of them, I ain't gonna say all of them. Majority of them got bodies, got traceable bodies.
So, Will, you disagree? Derek, how about yourself?
I think we got Will's answer on that one.
Yeah, Derek, you agree or disagree that Blood? You agree that societies? Oh, okay. Yeah. Roxanne, how about you, ma'am?
I disagree.
You disagree that gangs are the same thing as fraternities and other secret societies?
Yep.
All right, Vulcan, how about you?
I definitely disagree on that one.
I disagree as well. Let's get back. Let's go to Will real quick.
Oh, it's cut out. Sorry.
You gotta go to me. I'm the only one disagree.
I said, well, yeah. We want to give Will a chance to say why he disagrees. Let's go a minute or less.
Okay. I guess I'm using listening to the semantics when you say gang. You know what I mean? It's that's been a broad label, not just for Bloods or Crips, but I mean, old posses, old regimes. There's people who will actually say that the police are the biggest gang that there is out there. You know, a lot of the gang members are said, and you have police societies within certain departments that are their own type of vigilante type of gangs. So I mean,
Okay.
I don't think he's looking at it just on a street level. Like, I mean, the police is a gang, man. So
All right. So,
yeah, you know, it's up. It's different levels to it, man.
all right, Roxanne, you disagree. Derek, hold on to that. We're gonna let you take the hour.
I disagree because I think just overall, again, we're talking about communities. Yeah, they're all different sorts of communities, but you have to fulfill certain requirements to be considered a fraternity. Same thing as a gang. You have to fulfill certain requirements to be a gang. You can't call a fraternity a gang. Like if you went and said, well, a fraternity is just like a gang, people will disagree all across the board. But I disagree because you have to have different requirements to be a part of different communities. That's just what it is.
Agreed.
So they both got
Agreed.
initiations. They both got initiation processes.
Right, but
different types, absolutely, yeah.
I'm gonna go before Vulcan, so I'm gonna go and then Vulcan, and then we're gonna end with Derek. So just to keep mine short and concise, I think gangs are the only organization that require violence and criminality to be a part of them. Now, Will, what you spoke about earlier is that members of those other organizations or entities do crime, right? But that's people in general. But only one of those entities require you to be a criminal, to do criminalistic things, to be in it. I think Jim Jones was talking. He was talking smack when he said that just because you're a blood doesn't mean that it absolutely does. It absolutely does mean that you are a criminal, that you have to do criminal things. You actually can't be in some of these street gangs without doing crime. That's how they know you true.
And real quickly, this for Freshly's point, you know, now what they would consider crime and what an average person would consider crime, not the same thing.
Two different things. That's 100% correct.
You could be doing crime that we would be appalled by in their group, and they'd be like, "That's light."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they wouldn't even consider you really being a gangster. Just like you saw with the guy earlier saying that Big Meech wasn't a gangster and 50 Cent was. The stuff that Big Meech did to us would be like horrific, but to maybe other people, they'd be like, he gets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a gangster because of that.
You can't even be part of most gangs. You can't even be part of most gangs if you have a 9-to-5. If you're a regular individual, you can't be a part of most gangs. You have to be into street culture. You have to be on the block.
What was the name of the gang with buckwheat and alfalfa?
Nah, it wasn't. Women haters. That wasn't no gang.
The name of the show was the gang. It's like Our Gang or something like that, right?
No, it's Little Rascals is the name of the show. Come on, man. That's revisionist history.
My bad. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
Come on, man. I don't believe you. Oh, you would have known that. Real quick, so we're gonna go to Vulcan. Vulcan, you disagree with the point that Jim Jones was making, that says that gangs are essentially the same thing as any other organization, fraternities, Masons, any of those things. You disagree. Why do you disagree?
Yeah, I definitely disagree with that. I mean, obviously, we know there's many similarities. There's people, they're organizing to do certain things. They have to collaborate. I mean, obviously, all the ways that they're the same is, but the devil's going to be the details. The difference is what the conversation's about. And Bloods is a criminal organization. They're domestic terrorists. That's what they do. And so it doesn't mean you can't do good in those organizations. It just means that the focus is doing the bad.
Correct.
And that's what they're going to be known for, and that's how you get your stripes up. Of course, all of us have grown up around gang members and interact with gang members, and they get their stars or their stripes, whatever they're calling it, based off doing certain criminal activity.
We don't know that. Roxanne, did you grow up around gang members?
I did.
All right.
Derek. My bad. Real quick, Fresh. I believe that it was the series of the VHS tapes was called Our Gang that featured the Little Rascals. So I think their releases it was our gang. I had to clarify for the old people, man. There's somebody out there probably like, yo, yeah, it was the our gang VHSs.
I
That
got
was
you. I
out back
got you.
then with the
Okay,
little rap.
This man trying to put the Bloods and the Crips in the same bucket as the
No,
She-Man
man,
women
it's
haters, man.
like
Come on, man.
nah, it's because when I look back on like Jeff Fort and the Black P Stone, you see what I'm saying? Those guys.
Let's define our terms then. That's all we got to do to make this.
That's it. Well, but again, gang has a definition. It is a criminal organization.
Well, let him. Let's let Will. What is your definition of a gang?
Is that the only definition, or is there?
No, he's asking you what your definition is. What's your definition of a gang that would make you say it's the same thing as a fraternity?
I mean, the way she said, there's initiation processes.
True.
There's in a few of those organizations or gangs that he named and listed, there is a criminal element there. I mean, you have biker gangs. You know what I mean?
Those are definitely gangs, though. Those are not outside of gangs. They're gangs.
Right. But I mean, cool in the gang. You know what I'm saying? Cool in the gang.
Stop it right now. You stop it right now.
I'm just saying, man, I think Jones couldn't say what I think he was attempting to say. And, he didn't give us enough.
Before we move on to Derek, Will, do you think in 1 minute or less, you can clarify on what Jones was trying to say?
I think so. You know,
all right, give me 1 minute or less what you think that man was trying to say, and then we're gonna move on to Derek.
Okay,
he ready.
I think when he named some organizations like Black Peace, well, he didn't name those, but he's thinking Black Peace Stones, the inception of the Crips, the Panthers, things like that, these type of organizations, but also he's looking at the police as a gang and things like that, and gangs within gangs. I mean, you talk about fraternities and criminal elements. There's over the years, and I just recently saw in the news, a kid that might be facing charges for hazing. They punching kids in the chest with boxing gloves repeatedly and taking young kids' lives. And I was under the impression that was outlawed. I thought that was a ban. So, I mean, that's criminal in itself if they can face charges for something that was supposed to be, I guess, removed. And, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a lot to think about, and I wish I could hear Jones say it,
He ain't going to be able to say it. All right, moving on to Derek.
Tackle that specific question real quick, Fresh, that you asked is, I think the similarity that he was trying to say is that you have the camaraderie, you have the brotherhood, you have the sisterhood, you have a community that has your back. That's what I think is making that similarity, whether it's cops, biker games, it's the same thing. The people that you have that community with, you have that brotherhood or sisterhood. But the difference is in a gang, you have to commit that criminal activity to be a part of that gang. In a fraternity, I know that if you do get caught hazing and in trouble for it, not really just the act of hazing, but if you get in trouble for it, you get kicked out. If you do criminal activity, you get kicked out. So it's just the differences in what the rules are within the community. But I think he's just trying to say that brotherhood and that sisterhood and having each other's back no matter what, I think is
that's a valid point, Roxanne. I think that's a very valid point. All right, Derek, you've been waiting patiently, and we appreciate you, man. Go off. I'm gonna give you more in a minute, man. Go ahead.
Well, the first thing I'm going to give a precursor to the answer. So for me, when I look at marriage is two people engaging in a physical activity that have the intent to live their life together forever. For me, in our Bible, that is when you are married. When it comes to the world, if you don't have the ceremony, if the world didn't see you give her a ring, and if you didn't have the engagement, you guys are living in sin, you ain't married yet. So reason I've used that as the precursor is because what the true definition of marriage is, I'm not going to go by what the world thinks it is. So this guy is saying, yes, it is a fraternity. So even though y'all say, well, yeah, but this fraternity, you got to do evil stuff and so what? That doesn't stop it from being a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. They share the same interests. They have the same camaraderie. All of the things that are fraternity, when you look at the definition of fraternity, When you look at the definition of fraternity, a gang is absolute. The Crips and Bloods, if anything, are probably more of it than some of the other organizations, except that to get in their fraternity, you got to do crazy stuff. But the definition of it, as far as it being a brotherhood and all the other things that it has, I think that lines up. That's why I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that, but like it depends on the details. That's the most
that's what Vulcan said. You know, the devil's in the detail. But let me ask you this. I got a fraternity, and you got to kill to get in it. You got a fraternity, and you got to eat some mayonnaise. What's they both fraternities.
Mm-hmm.
This one you can get you put in jail for 30 years. This one's gonna have you on the toilet for 10 minutes. You know, so I mean they are both fraternities.
Initiation phase with both organizations. Yeah.
Right, but you differentiate it. You qualify the initiation. One is criminalistic. One is required criminal. I think that by the definition, that would make your fraternity a gang, right?
Okay.
Now you can call it whatever you want. Just like, you know, the Bloods and Crips can call their gangs organizations. That doesn't make them organizations. By the same token, a fraternity that requires crime to get in is a gang, regardless of what they call it. It's about what the definition of the things is. Semantics are just semantics at that point in time.
And it's different because you have organizations. Both of them are organizations, but both of them are not gangs, though. There's two different definitions. Because even with gangs, you have to technically it's blackmail. The initiation, you might have to do some criminal acts or even have to delete somebody, and they will hold that against you. Some people use that and tell on somebody, like, I know about a murder 5 years ago, and use that against the person they recruited to come in. So there's a lot of blackmailing going on in the game.
You can't even get out of these organizations unscathed. You could leave a fraternity.
Yeah.
You can't leave a gang. It's blood in, blood out. And by that very token, the blood in is the problem. You got to shed blood to get into this gang, and your blood got to be shed to get out of it.
And to add to what Derek was saying, like I said, as far as group, and I like what Roxanne said, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, all those are aspects or characteristics of most organizations, you know. So, but what are their goal? I mean, we did this quote on the Charleston White versus hip hop. I read a quote, I can't remember word for word, but he said most gangs, their goal is just to terrorize the world. You can't say that for fraternities, you know, that's not their goal. But gangs, they're all in agreement to terrorize the world or terrorize whatever neighborhood or country they're in. And that's, you know, like I said, the details. But as far as the gang, he says no difference. So say, I mean, you know, he's speaking ambiguous. He's being very vague, but I get the premise, what he was trying to say. So, yeah.
Jim Jones is full of crap.
I want to go back to that movie with Will Ferrell where, what is it? I love you, Blue. Let's go streaking in the club.
Oh, you're talking about old school. Old
school. There we go. So they wanted to be a fraternity, and they started their own fraternity, and they said, no, you aren't a fraternity because you don't meet these requirements. So they had to go above and beyond and meet the requirements to be a fraternity. Same
thing with a gang. You can't just say you're a gang. Listen, there are rules amongst biker gangs that says you can't just start a gang. Yep. We don't recognize you as a gang. And if you try to run through here wearing patches and wearing cuts and vests like you are a gang, you're gonna have to get dealt with by an actual gang.
Oh, yeah, and I would add,
you need to be real quick. You need to be prepared to commit crime and violence to stand your gang up as far as real gangs are concerned. We're gonna test your gangster. If you feel like you that, we're gonna see about it.
Mm-hmm. Until Will, I heard you bring up Jeff Ford. If you watch any of his documentaries, because I have family in Chicago, I don't know if you noticed, he had bought some missiles. He was trying to shoot the missiles at the police. I don't see fraternities doing that kind of stuff. As far as him being a mastermind organizing, like Larry Hoover, they was trying to go to the political route. But you know, he
was ready to get on some gangsters.
History of violence, though. You know, so let's get into the next video. This guy's been trending.
I'm here to stay on my soapbox and proclaim that to the world.
On this show.
This is the hottest show on the planet right now.
What's the debate?
Ain't no debate.